we're missing one of them.
Yeah, we sure are. Okay.
Oh.
We'll do another one when
Oh, okay, yeah, because Jared's not here.
Jared's not here yet.
Marie in the picture.
Okay, it's
Go time.
It's 5:30, July 17th, 2025, and we welcome you to the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board for the Village of Tequesta, Florida. Meg, can I have a roll call, please?
Leslie Dasher.
Here?
Teresa Maggio.
Here.
Leslie Shower.
Here.
Sherry Ambrose.
Thank you.
Jim McDowney. Here. Spear. Jared Gaylord. Fred.
Here.
Okay, and has everybody had a chance to look over the agenda? Okay, I do have one change. We are going to have the reorganization of the board tonight, choosing a new chair and vice chair. So we do have to add that to the agenda tonight. And any other changes? Nope. Okay, have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, including the reorganization of the board.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, and the approval of the meeting minutes for April 17th, 2025. Were there any changes?
No.
No. I did have one for as far as the roll call, it wasn't any, I didn't see Marie's name on the,
She was here.
yeah. I mean, she wasn't listed as absent or here, but,
Oh,
and
that's
I'm sure she
true.
was here, so.
yeah, she was.
So that's the only change I have.
She's always here.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's the only change I have on the previous meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the correction that Marie was here as an alternate at the April 17th meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Okay, and the first agenda item,
We can go to our
Who does?
reorganization.
okay, who does that?
I can take it over
Okay.
if you'd like.
Okay.
Good evening, board members. Nice to see all of you. It's been a little while. So, Section 22-52 of the Village of Tequesta Code of Ordinances says that the board shall select its own chair and vice chair annually at the first meeting of the board held after the May meeting of the Village Council, at which time members are appointed. It also says the director of the Department of Community Development shall serve as clerk to the board.
Thank you.
Who knew? So we've done this previously. There are two ways to go about electing a chair and a vice chair. You can do so by motion, or you can do so by the nomination process. If I recall correctly, you had done so via motions in the past. The rules say you get to select yours, so it's sort of up to you guys on how you want to handle it.
Okay.
If there's a scent that you want to handle it just via a simple motion, then we can do it that way. Or if you wanted to, utilize the nomination method, we could explore that as well.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to have Sherry Ambrose as the chair for Planning and Zoning.
Okay, so a motion has been made. Is there a second? There does
Motion
not appear to
fails.
be a second, so the motion would fail for lack of a second.
Okay.
I was gonna ask if we could make a motion leaving everything as is, with the chair and the vice chair. Can you do it that way?
Well, I would ask that.
Renominate.
Yeah, I would ask that
You
you.
would say renominate each,
Okay.
so I can make a motion?
Yeah, just be clear in your motion that you are nominating this person as chair and this person as vice chair.
Yes, so currently vice chair is
Teresa.
Teresa, Leslie, so I would make a motion that Leslie remain chair, Teresa's vice chair. Do we have another person that is,
I'll second the
you?
motion.
Okay, so there's been a motion and a second. I'll do a roll. Clerk, would you please call for a roll call?
a vote.
Oh, clerk?
But we'll let Jay work.
That fancy clerk.
There we go.
So,
That's right, that's right. Yes.
The agenda out to read names. Okay.
I'll,
So roll call. Let's go Sherry Ambrose,
Yeah, aye.
Jean McEldowney,
Aye.
Elizabeth Schauer,
Aye.
Teresa Maggio,
Aye.
Leslie Dasher.
Aye.
okay, motion passes. Congratulations.
And one other small item, if we can have Fred come forward, give us his name and, to the podium, name and address for the record, and tell us about yourself. He's our new third alternate.
And who left?
Marco.
Marco.
Welcome, Fred.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My wife and I moved here not quite 13 years ago from Baltimore, Maryland. My background is international business, working for a spice company. Since we've been here, we've tried to be very active. I've recently retired from being the president of the Jupiter Medical Auxiliary with 400 volunteers. My wife is active there as well as I in a different position, and we just try to give back to the community. We love it here. To be honest with you, we told our realtor what we were looking for. We looked at 4 houses. The second house we saw in the matter of an hour and a half we bought. We're in the country club. Absolutely love it and very proud of the village of Tequesta. All our cars have stickers on them, and I'm delighted to see how the village works. I did attend the program for the Residence Academy, and I found that extremely helpful, and it's quite an organization we have here in the village that we live in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And if we're ready, we will move on to item number 2, which is, well, I guess technically 3, SPM 03-25 Application from Jebccore Tequesta LLC for a site plan modification for new exterior or existing 6,000 on existing 6,099 square foot building in the mixed-use zoning district. Meg?
Chair, this item, SPM 03-25, is a quasi-judicial application. That being said, if there's anyone present here this evening who plans to give testimony regarding SPM 03-25, I need to swear you in at this time. So if you could please stand, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury in the laws of the state of Florida to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Very good. You may be seated. I'll also ask the board members at this time to disclose any ex parte communications they may have had with the applicant or disclose any site visits they've made.
No, sir.
None.
All right.
And can I ask one question? Now, as far as this goes, we are only here to review and make recommendations on the, more or less, the exterior and the grounds, not the businesses going into, because the one requires a special exception, which they have not received yet.
Correct. Yeah. So the special exception uses only go to council right now. I think this came up with the Cypress project that came up. We are working on putting that into the code that the PZB would also review and make recommendations on special exceptions. Most cities do it that way. So we're going to be bringing some code updates probably in the fall, so that will be in there.
Okay.
But yeah, right now you're not formally reviewing that.
Okay, great.
Just the site plan.
Yep.
Okay, Meg, are you presenting, or is Mr. Holloway?
I'm actually going to do a presentation. Meg is a little bit under the weather. She's
Oh.
battling to even be here right now. So,
Oh.
all right. So this petition is from Jebccore Tequesta. It's a site plan modification for an existing 6,099 square foot building in the MU zoning district. Here's the property. It used to be a Bank of America. It's located on the southwest corner of Tequesta Drive in US 1. It's in the MU mixed use zoning district. It's also in the US 1, the new US 1 zoning overlay. The facility was constructed in 2004. It has a 3-lane drive-through on the south side of the building, which was used for the bank. The bank did cease operations at this location in 2022, and the building has remained vacant since then. As you may or may not be aware, we've had a few different conceptual presentations come to our village council proposing various things for this property. One of them was a Wawa. That did not go well. Troy was there. He could remind you.
Sure it didn't.
There was I think a proposal for a smoke shop, like a cigar
come
bar.
on. Sorry.
Yeah, cigar bar of some sort. And I'm not sure if there were any others, but a few different ones came up. And Troy's team came forward in June or July of last year for a conceptual presentation to our council for this project.
June of last year.
Of last year, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag time with some of the submittals and resubmittals, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
You're sold in here.
They are going to need a special exception. Meg, can you take the clock down?
Sorry, I could have done that for you.
Okay.
So restaurants, fast food restaurants are required to obtain a special exception. They are considered a fast food restaurant. Really, the way our code is written, even kind of fast casual restaurants are could be considered a fast food restaurant. So they do have a drive-through, so they're definitely considered a fast food restaurant. But even if they were kind of like a Three Natives would possibly even be considered fast food the way our code is written. The drive-through it's called a Chipotlane. I think you may have seen something about that in the agenda package. I think Troy can probably share a little bit more about it, but it's supposed to be more of a pickup. You pre-order, you pick it up. It's not your typical drive-through order.
Modern technology.
Modern technology, yes. And Chipotle also, I mean, when I go there, you can do a pickup from inside too, so you don't have to go. You don't have to go to the Chipotlane. A lot of people still just go inside, which is pretty common at Jersey Mike's and restaurants like that.
Everything right there.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. As I said earlier, so the PZB does not review special exceptions, only reviewed by Village Council. As I said, we're working on changing that. The zoning overlay actually does not apply to this project. So the application was submitted during the business hours of October 16th, 2024. The code was later adopted that night. Well done, Troy. The zoning overlay, therefore, does not apply to it so we were supposed to apply kind of the code that was in place at the time of that. There really aren't too many major implications for that. The biggest one would probably be that Chipotle would be considered a formula restaurant. And we do have special formula restaurant criteria where we want to make sure that the restaurants coming here kind of fit the character of the community and that we don't get kind of overrun with chains or maybe chains that don't fit in with the community. So this one does not apply because of that submittal. But as I said, they still will need a special exception for the fast food portion of it. I did want to bring this up because Jeannie called me and had some questions about the formula businesses, and I realized that you guys, the code that you saw at in front of you ended up being slightly changed by council when it got to them. They made some tweaks on the formula business concept, and I think they really came up with some pretty good suggestions and concepts. So it was originally just considered formula business and formula restaurant when it came to you, and formula business was a catch-all. It included retail, but it would have also included things like a real estate office or a massage therapy, like a Massage Envy. They wanted to separate it out to have formula retail separated and then formula business separated, and then formula restaurant stayed the same. So they, and the Tequesta Drive overlay, which is the kind of the overlay along Tequesta Drive, Gallery Square, formula retail and formula restaurants are completely prohibited there, but a formula business could come in through a special exception. So again, a Massage Envy, a hair salon, something of that nature. US 1, where this property is, there's no restriction on formula retail, there's no restriction on formula business, there's only a special exception requirement for formula restaurants. So the big thing there is keeping an eye on chain restaurants, drive-throughs, fast food, things of that nature. And then the Village Center overlay, which is kind of more in the middle of the village. Formula retail and formula restaurant are special exception, and formula business really has no restriction at all.
Okay.
So just wanted to give you a heads up on that because that's something that you guys probably didn't see because it got changed by council.
Know that.
Yeah.
But this does not,
But it doesn't apply either way because they submitted before we officially adopted the code.
Okay.
So here's the current site. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. Probably drive by it all the time. Kind of has the Mediterranean style, which was a little more common, in the early 2000s and the 90s. Here's a proposed elevation. We think that it's pretty nice architecture, kind of in the direction that I think a lot of people in the village want to see more coastal colors, and so I think they've really done a lot. When they originally submitted, it didn't have that. You can't see it as well here, but there's kind of that pop of like a blue or green in the middle there. It didn't have that, and so we kind of suggested that, and I think it made it really pop a little bit more.
Is that tile?
It says metal.
It's a special. I'll let Troy talk about that. It's some kind of special patterned detail.
Yeah, it's in here.
Metal
It's
cutouts.
It's written in here.
my bad.
I'll find it.
pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty.
So I do want to show too just how far the architectures come from their original conceptual. So this is what they proposed at their conceptual presentation. I think the council did not really love it.
No.
And Troy and his team have really done a great job. They even had to work with Chipotle's kind of in-house architect who was from, was it Massachusetts? And so the architect could not fit
Visualize.
he could not fit kind of the Florida vernacular, Florida coastal style that we wanted. And so Troy's team and myself had to give a lot of feedback to their client that we really wanted to get something a little more coastal. So they ended up getting Stephen Boroff, who's a really, really well-respected local architect. So I think he really did a great job of kind of,
It's very hard for people that have chains up in the Northeast, and then they come down here. The architecture, they don't have that insight. I'm sorry. I've been here too long.
absolutely. Yeah, it looked like,
That's in here.
it was nice, but it looked like it was a Cape Cod type style. So didn't really fit.
No.
So here's the proposed colors: Benjamin Moore White Dove, the Benjamin Moore Aberdeen Green, and the Chantilly Lace. So here's some elements that shows that kind of feature there.
There you go.
Which is really, really beautiful.
It's nice.
And then we've worked with them too to make sure that the exterior furniture kind of also fits the style. Chipotle has some of their own standard styles, but we wanted to make sure that the umbrella that they use and some of the furniture kind of fit that same coastal aesthetic we're going for. Here's the proposed signage. So the code allows one freestanding sign not to exceed 60 square feet and 16 feet in height. The sign of the site plan package does not have the exact dimensions of the sign face area. As I was prepping for the meeting today, I realized that the sign face area might be slightly larger than what we require by code. It looks like it's possibly a little larger than 60 square feet. So that would be just the area where the sign copy is, not the entire sign itself.
Okay.
So I do have a proposed condition at the end of the presentation ensuring that when they submit, that they meet that requirement. That condition is not in the staff report, but I'm recommending you make that as part of any motion you make tonight.
All right, because you will also have another.
There is another condition, which I'll get to on my last
Already
slide.
have that.
Okay.
But now what did you want us to do with the signage?
I got you on the last slide.
Okay.
I've got it.
Okay.
So the standards of review for site plans in the code, there's several of these. I think you're used to reviewing these when we have site plans. So harmony with other buildings, harmony with the surroundings, facades that are harmonious. Again, methods of harmonious design, advertisements on buildings. So you want the advertisements and signage to be kind of compatible with the style of the village. Inappropriate building styles, garish design, takeout and pickup windows. So this says that takeout and pickup windows shall not be located on a building facade that faces a public right-of-way. So this does not face the public right-of-way. The overlay also has some language about that. Again, doesn't apply. but that's further in the overlay. Exterior forms and use of symbolic colors, exterior storage, and display of merchandise. So here are the proposed conditions of approval. So the sign, there's a wall out on Tequesta Drive adjacent to the Welcome to Tequesta sign. It's a little bit dated. It's a little bit in need of some cleaning up. So we have recommended a condition of approval that they pressure wash the sign, repair any spalling, and paint it to match the color that's on the Village of Tequesta sign, so that it'll be a little bit more cohesive and a little bit nicer gateway into the village.
It says prior to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy, the applicant shall pressure wash the wall along Tequesta Drive, repair spalling, and paint and match the addition.
Yep.
Right there.
Exactly.
I saw that one.
Highlighted it.
And then the second condition, which is the one that we added, is, and this is something we could have done at permitting anyways, but just to be safe, to ensure that the sign face area of the freestanding sign shall not exceed 60 square feet per section 78741.
Okay.
That's my
Not
presentation.
exceed, I'm sorry.
Shall not exceed 60 square feet
Okay.
per section 78741.
Okay.
That is my presentation. Troy Holloway from 2JHO is going to give a presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions when he's done.
And Mr. Holloway, if you can give us your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, everyone. Troy Holloway. I'm with 2GHO. We're the landscape architects and land planners on this project. We are also the agent or applicant for the owner as well. We have come a long way with this project. I think we've been working on this almost 2 years. When we first came, we came through with a Wawa, convenience store, gas station. That wasn't well recepted. We did not do any kind of a cigar smoke shop. That wasn't us. So, and we've been working with staff for about a year on this particular site plan, trying to get the architecture, pretty much the architecture, getting it right to where it needs to be. As you know, a lot of these national tenants have their specific architectural patterns, and that's what they start with. And you got to really push hard to get something different, and you really got to push hard, and we need your staff to do that, and they did, and got something I think really nice. We're here tonight requesting a lot of this Jay has covered, but I'll try to go over it quickly. A redevelopment of an existing vacant building, 6,099 square feet in size. It does have 3 existing drive-through lanes or drive-through tunnels on the building. It's 1.4 acre property. It is located at 150 Tequesta Drive, which was the old Bank of America site. The property is currently zoned MU. It's a mixed-use district. This is within your recently adopted US Highway 1 overlay. Our redevelopment proposal consists of 3,499 square feet of medical office use and 2,600 square feet of fast food restaurant with outdoor seating. And of course, the proposed tenants are the Chipotle and a Heartland Dental or some sort of dental. I don't know what he'll end up with, but a dental office there. This is the project location, southwest corner of Tequesta Drive and US Highway 1. Again, the existing structure there shown. These are the existing commercial properties, all surrounded by commercial properties. Across the street to the east, we've got that commercial plaza kind of strip center. Just to the south, we've got the existing CVS. Immediately to the west, we have the 2-3-story office building. And of course, we have Paradise Park there, kind of to the southwest of this site. And on the north side, we've got a 1- and 3-story office building, and then the Shell gas station on the corner. This is our proposed site plan. The area there in yellow is the existing drive-through canopy, which we will be removing from the building itself. The property does have 4 or 5 vehicular accesses on this property. There's a lot of these. Our intentions are to keep all of those. They're not going to be modified or widened at all. They'll just remain as they are. With the removal of the drive-through, that enabled us to add some angled parking along the south property line, as shown here. And again, the north half of the building would be the dental medical office, and the south portion of the building would be a Chipotle. This would be their drive-through, or it's a pickup lane only on the south side of the building, and that would be their pickup window for the Chipotle lane itself. Out front, we'll have I think 4 tables and chairs, about 24 seats, some umbrellas, some trash receptacles, and so on. The front of the building will maintain, it does currently have a covered arcade. We'll maintain that arcade. Actually, they've made it much larger. I think it's much improved to what exists on the building today. This is your existing Tequesta Monument sign. It was pretty much told to us to not touch the sign. They like it just the way it is, so we will not be messing with your monument sign on that corner. On the west side of the property, there's a reciprocal parking easement. Consists of 12 parking spaces. That's been in place for about 25 years. And that is basically reciprocal parking to be used. It's for either properties for the commercial building there to the west, and for this parcel as well. As far as landscaping goes, we did submit full landscape plans, and that landscape plan essentially removes all of the shrubs, all of the ground covers on the site, because they are about 20 years old, 21 years old. So their lifespan is gone. Those will all be replaced. For the most part, most of the trees and palms will all be replaced and removed, but we will be relocating some trees and palms, and some of those will remain in place as well. A lot of the gumbo limbos have done well, but some of the oaks just aren't doing well, and all the royals out front will be replaced along US 1. Some of the site data, again, it's 1.4 acres in size. The building area is 6,099 square feet. That's the existing building area. We're not touching the walls at all. They're not going to be expanding. They're not reducing. They'll stay exactly the same, other than removal of the drive-through. As far as open space, the existing open space currently today is 26.5%. We're slightly increasing that with this plan modification to 28.7%. 25% is the minimum required by your code. The code parking is 77 spaces per your code. We're requesting shared parking, which would be a 62 parking space requirement. We're providing 79 spaces, so we exceed all of those. Again, that 79 does include the 12 shared, the reciprocal parking, that easement in the back. We are reducing also the building lot coverage. It's currently at 8,531 square feet. We're taking it down to 6,549 square feet, so we're reducing it by 23.2%. So it's a very large drive-through on the building. Mm-hmm. Just some Chipotle facts, as Jay had mentioned. This allows customers to pick up an order without having to park their vehicle or walking into the restaurant. As Jay said, you can walk in. Most restaurants now, you can order online, and they've got little racks there. You just walk in and grab your food, and you run out. So this one will just have a pickup lane for that as well. You cannot place your order at the menu board or pickup window. There is no menu board. It's got to be done through the app. It's only available to those customers who've placed the app or placed their order via the Chipotle app or through their website. The payment of the order is also done through the app or the website. You can't pay at the window either. If the order isn't ready when they arrive, if they arrive early, they're just asked to park, and then they'll bring the order out to them, or they can wait inside and pick up the order. In the last two, these kind of the facts here at the bottom, they've done a lot of Chipotle operational studies, and they say that an average of only 2 customers in a lane, in the Chipotle lane at a time, with an average wait of 1 minute, 13 seconds. Although these figures were based on, they did studies of 6 Chipotles in larger metropolitan areas. So I doubt these figures. I think Tequesta's numbers will probably be a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Existing versus the proposed architecture. That's the existing building there on the top left. And the bottom there is our proposed front elevation facing US 1. With these changes, again, we'll be maintaining the covered arcade. We'll actually be increasing it. You can see that there is a small arcade on the existing building. It's going to go almost the full length of the front now. It does remove the large bulky drive-through structure, tunnels. It removes the very dated Spanish Mediterranean styles and finishes on the building. It does propose for a light and airy coastal architectural style. Reduces the blank walls and increases the window openings, and also utilizes light, soft earth tone colors as silver, Aberdeen green, and some muted whites. These are the two. The front one is the east elevation facing US 1, which is the front, and then we got the rear elevation on the bottom. Some of the architectural features, it'll be providing for some silver standing seam metal roof throughout the project, some aluminum decorative screening. That's what you're looking at. Some of that, it would be basically it's laser cut aluminum panels that would be powder coated. Some brackets and exposed rafter tails. We'll have decorative louvered shutters on all sides of the building, front, sides, and rear. Some decorative lighting all around the building, and also smooth stucco finish. It'll be they put lines in that stucco, which will give it that horizontal wood siding look. I noticed these elevations are labeled incorrectly. The top one is a south elevation, not north. That's the south elevation with the drive-through window. The bottom one is the north elevation facing Tequesta Drive. And as you can see, we've got the metal roof all the way around, the louvered shutters. The architects did a really nice job. And this is that same 3D rendering of that building. East elevation facing US 1 there on the left-hand side, and the north facing Tequesta Drive. As you can see how nice the covered arcade is. It looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
And in conclusion, we do adhere to all development regulations of the mixed-use zoning district. The redevelopment of this existing site does strive to meet as many of the proposed US Highway 1 overlay requirements as possible. It is an existing site, so we didn't meet all of them, such as I think some of the civic open space we weren't required to meet, but we really strived to meet as much as we could. The redeveloped architectural styles, it is in conformance with the architectural design guidelines of the Commercial Corridor Master Plan. All of the old existing landscaping will be removed and completely refurbished, and it will exceed the village's code. And this redevelopment will place active, vibrant uses in a vacant structure on a main commercial corridor, once again revitalizing this prominent gateway parcel within your village. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Board, any questions? Mr. Holloway?
I have a couple.
Yeah.
So your elevations, I don't see any that show the outside seating or that show the actual signage. Is that?
Only the site plan will show the sign. You talking about the freestanding sign?
No, the building signage. It says signage.
We're looking
The
for the
dental
outdoor
practice,
sign.
for example, that wasn't a very cute sign. It also wasn't at all oriented the way your signage is. So I'm just curious how you fit the signage for that on what you've indicated is the area for signage. And you can see the seating a little bit in one of them, but I'm curious how that looks with the drive-through area.
Well, as far as the front sign, basically the signage on the left, that would be Chipotle, and I'm assuming that has to come in for a separate building permit, but I'm assuming they'll do the round Chipotle sign on that tower.
Right, yeah.
The red and orange and brown.
Yeah, they'll have their
Corporate
their
logo.
typical, which I think is on that one slide.
Yeah, I can see the logo. It would have been helpful to see the colors together because I've never seen a Chipotle they're given color palette using this kind of green blue as the alternative color.
No,
Okay.
I don't think they have.
Okay.
But no, they'll have their standard national signage on the building.
Okay. And there's not an elevation that shows the outside seating and the drive-through.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the plans.
No, the 3D doesn't. The 3D does not. Just the
There doesn't. You can't see the seating
Regular
here. You can
Yeah,
see like a
you
bench.
can't, you can't see it anywhere in here.
no, it shows.
yeah,
You can see a little bit, but not the
Like
way
there's no
we used
umbrella and
Yeah, it shows.
Yeah, the drive-through
page
is on-
42.
Yeah.
42, it shows.
which has
I was on.
It has the flat roof over it, and that is the drive-through window, the
right
pickup
here,
window,
right here.
essentially there on the
But it
top.
doesn't show that. I guess I was curious how far the drive-through window is from where people will be sitting.
That will,
They'll sit in the front.
should, yeah.
The front of the building.
They'll sit in the front. of the-
No, I understand that. I just,
okay.
it'd be helpful to see it in perspective, since you're gonna have people in cars near where people are eating.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, on the site plan, you can see where that arrow Chipotle Lane pickup window,
And it's
that's the actual
covered.
window location. And then we have, I think, 2 tables outside, and then there's 2 tables that'll be undercover up near the front of the building.
That's right
And
here.
we
Yeah,
have-
an elevation would have been helpful, but
And
I
it's-
understand.
Yeah, the site plan shows too, there's a fence, they have a fence railing there, so you can't just walk across. They have to walk actually to the crosswalk to get across there.
Okay, thank you, that's helpful.
And one thing we did is ensure that there's bollards and some sort of protective things there.
Yeah, I
to
assume
finish
that,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, that I do.
So we did ensure that there's some stuff around it.
Okay, I have outdoor seating. Jay, I have one question to ask you. Now I've got all my papers mixed up. The gentleman, here we go. For the town of Jupiter, he gave us their ordinance for the parking.
Sure.
For shared parking?
Yeah, and I read, here it is. I read that, I mean, are you thinking, I mean, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, so shared parking makes a lot of sense, and our code does allow it. We just don't actually have, our code doesn't have the actual times, like maximum demand times, but Jupiter's does.
Yes.
So I'm used to that code. I know the 2GHO team is, and it's based on actual engineering standards. So because ours doesn't have the actual standards, we let them apply those.
Yeah.
But it makes a lot of sense because office uses have peak demand from 8 to 5, and restaurants are going to have sometimes peak demand in the evening. So what you do is there's some synergy there, right? So they were able to use those numbers, and it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, he gave us the code, but, well, my papers are all messed up right now, but he gave us the code to read, and it was quite, detailed, so.
Yeah, I have it on a hidden slide if you guys want to look at it.
I think it was in here.
It's
somewhere
in the
somewhere,
packet.
Yeah. It's in here.
10:45 to
10,
10.
10.
yes.
Peak hours are 12 to 1.
I think evening had some peak hours.
I've
Yeah,
never
so-
been to a Chipotle. Don't be offended. I don't do
that's
fast
okay.
food, but I went to one to see
Here it
how it
is.
works.
Town, it's on page 57, Town of Jupiter, they're, yeah, I knew I read it.
Yeah, so well, I have it right here. So the maximum demand that they're using is from 6 p.m. to midnight on weekdays, and it's 100% utilization for fast food and only 10% for the office, right? Because no one's going to be at the office after 6 p.m. And that requires them to have 62 parking spaces. But in the daytime, they're 100% for the medical use, but only around 50% for the restaurant. So it lets them reduce their max parking.
Yeah, a lot of municipalities use that chart. I mean, I can't remember who that's from National Traffic Division who's done that. I mean, I know West Palm Beach uses the exact same table. A lot of municipalities have that exact table in their code,
Yeah, I think it's from the International Transportation Engineers Standards.
something like that.
Well, I just think, because it was quite detailed.
Yeah.
So I figured it wouldn't be in here unless they wanted us to really look at it, and I'm like, okay, I think that's something, because even with the chart, that he did, I mean, it was good, so.
Yeah, we encourage people to do it. Like Gallery Square is looking to enclose that open bay there, and I've told them you probably have a lot of parking synergies if you look at your daytime office type uses or your art galleries versus your nighttime restaurants. So they can likely do that as well and get a reduction.
Yeah.
Is there any more questions for Mr. Benoit?
It's,
I do have a question. Teresa, I'm sorry. In your restaurant document with all the different times and the number of cars, it did say that sometimes you would have cars that would drive up and then drive away because they thought they could order there. So does your signage say drive-through or does it say pickup? So that you avoid that unnecessary traffic. It wasn't a lot, but it seemed like certain times of the day, I don't know.
It's called educating the public, the old people.
Exactly.
You know what I'm gonna say, they probably have a sign that says pick up only and people
Yeah,
just
yeah,
ignore it,
yeah.
which could be true.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure what kind of signage they'll have. I imagine they'll have something on the back corner when people pull in.
But that might be something to really think about. That's a good idea.
Yeah, because you're just wasting everybody's time that's trying to drive in there.
Yeah, I'll ask them about that to see what kind of signage they do have. But you're right, the old people like myself as well, I would just rather walk in and order.
You would rather do what?
Just walk in and order myself.
Well, it's a lot of times it's a lot easier to do
Yeah,
that.
but when I was in the Chipotle on Indiantown Road, I was there from 1:30 to 2. It's 20 to 30-year-olds running in, doing it, and running out with the bag. That's exactly what that business is.
Younger
So
generation.
this makes sense to do it that way. It does.
And I'm, for one, I'm glad that the building will not look anything like the neighbors, because it's such a, the one that's there now it's a big box with tile on the roof. It's not
Yeah.
very, and CVS is not much better looking, so
Yeah,
it's,
very, very dated.
it'll be nice to have
It's a nice
Just a
statement for that corner.
Yeah, it is.
It'll be a
It
nice-
really is.
it'll be a nice addition.
Your staff pushed us hard for that.
Okay, if there's no more questions for Mr. Holloway, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will open the floor to public comment. Fred, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and could we get the 3 minutes thing?
Fred Lissauer, 46 Gulfview Drive. Just have a question regarding, maybe for the council or committee. What happens if Heartland Dental doesn't come in or hasn't signed a contract and it's vacant? Do they have to apply again with another permit, or what happens?
So they'll just come in for a business tax receipt for whatever use goes in that bay, and if it's a permitted use, nothing will happen. If there's a use that requires what we call a special exception, it'll have to go to the village council for approval for the special exception. But you're really just looking at the site, not the uses themselves.
Okay, so in other words, a smoke-in could go there theoretically, but they have
thank
to
you.
apply?
Well, they'd have to apply.
The smoke-in would have to be a permitted use.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bradford, if you'll state your name and address for the record, please.
Do I need to be sworn in?
No.
Okay. Thomas Bradford, 44 Chestnut Trail. I've been looking at the things that have been posted online, and I think overall Troy and his team, as well as our staff, have done an outstanding job to make it be a better product at that location. But I have a number of concerns that I want to bring to your attention. First of all, I believe the signage, the freestanding signage, is too big. I mean, you've got two tenants, and why does that sign need to be 16 feet in height? If Troy is 6 feet tall, approximately, it's more than twice as tall as Troy is, and that just seems odd when we're very cognizant of keeping some controls relative to signage along these overlay districts that are now in effect, although it doesn't apply to their project. One of the drawings I saw, but not here tonight, is there was what appeared to be a driveway access point on approximately the northwest corner of the property. It was labeled something like DA or DT, I don't remember, but I don't see that now, which I'm glad it's not there, because that leads to my second point is, what is the status of what may be called an alley, a road, an easement that runs along the western property line of the property between that gym facility and their property? Is it an easement? Is it a road? Is it an alley? Is it open to the public? What is it? That's the question. And then thirdly, it may have been the northern facade or the western facade. I can't remember which one it was. But it was pretty stark. It had a lot of space that was just plain, and either there should be some sort of articulation on that wall, or maybe Troy and company have added trees that will be along that facade to soften it. And my last point is this. If you're driving eastbound on Tequesta Drive, coming to the intersection, your first image of this property is from its northwest corner. And today, the dumpster location is also in that line of sight. And today it's a wreck, but it needs to be nicely done so that you're not, as you probably know, dumpster locations, typically they fail to close the doors that hide the dumpsters, and that could be your first thing that you see when you're driving eastbound at that site. So that's all I had, and you can address it after I sit down or ignore it, but those were my concerns.
Thank you. I know the backside that we look at here, there's a lot of plants.
Yeah, that's what we see.
So I'm not sure if it's going to be at that start, because we do, it's page 44.
It's right here.
It doesn't show it on the picture.
They're
but
on here. No,
It's
here.
not. You go on to this.
But where is it on the
It's not. That's why I'm saying you go to here.
Yeah, but I don't.
Anyway,
He's not showing the site plan.
well, the one with the plants shows plants all along the backside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not that.
These aren't building plans, these are just
That's a landscape plan.
concept.
Yeah.
Concept so far, okay.
What is that alleyway back there? What do we call that?
It's actually on the survey. It shows up as a, what is this? It's a 24-foot driveway easement that's shared between the two properties.
Okay. Thank you. And Marie?
Actually, if it's okay, I do have comments, but could you answer Tom's questions?
You need to come to the podium.
Yeah.
I don't know that we can answer.
No.
What he asked about.
Is it okay? I'm happy to go after.
Well, he asked about the alleyway, and Troy did answer that.
Yeah.
And
But he had questions for staff too.
Yeah, I mean, the sign question, so 16 feet is what is permitted by code. I do think that's a generous code requirement, but that is what's
it's
required
allowed.
by code.
Right. It's
And
allowed.
when we adopted the zoning overlays, we did not touch signage, but I do think the village is going to have to relook at our signage code, because the village center signage allowances, you can also do some very large signs kind of in some of our more quaint parts of the village as well. So
And this area at least has like the raised dirt and then like the large trees. So I kind of understand why you'd still want a reasonable size sign, but I hear you that 16 feet is a generous sign height.
Yeah, it is. That is very. Okay, Marie, if you give your name and address
Sure.
for the record, please.
Marie Superior, I live in the country club. I appreciate that the design mostly reflects the desire of Tequesta residents for this to be a small coastal village. However, if you think about the aspiration of a small Florida coastal village in this location, which is central to the village, we would ideally have a building occupied by unique, authentically local businesses. That's how you add value to the properties in this area, by creating a unique sense of character. And this is a very important priority for the village. But developers have told me that there is a financial advantage to having an established big business as a tenant. So with that in mind, to the property owners on Route 1 and all of their advisors, especially those who come before us frequently, I'd like to make this suggestion. Try to find a way to have smaller businesses that are unique and authentically local, because that adds enormous value to the village. And your efforts will be rewarded, because Tequesta residents shop at local stores. So doing this will add enormous value to all the properties in the area, especially yours. I note that the same firm last brought us not only the Wawa concept, but also the Starbucks that it does exist currently. So I'd especially appreciate if they would counsel their clients differently in the future, because it would really create long-term value for the property owners. I realize on the use, I realize the board is not currently discussing the special exception use,
Correct.
although that should be promptly changed, and I support that going forward. The problem, but I would like to put on the record that the problem with this special exception use is that the fast food drive-through seems likely, even by the applicant's own admission, to create traffic problems. From the drawings, it looks like you can maybe fit 4 cars very tightly into the drive-through, but the data shows that during peak times, there are at least 4 cars doing pickups. What is my question would be, what is the plan for managing that, given how busy this particular intersection is? Also, since we are in a more suburban location, I think we'll actually have more cars than urban locations would. The other question I have is for staff. The code, as I understand it, requires a 15-foot landscape buffer for fast food. I think that may be correct along Route 1, but on the Tequesta Drive side of this property, I'm not sure that it's that size. I couldn't tell from the plans. If not, I think that should be fixed, and we shouldn't have a change. We shouldn't deviate from the code requirements for fast food and mixed use. The street sign also concerns me. I appreciate that the lettering is raised, solid, and not plastic that is backlit. I do not appreciate that this design maxes out the size dimensions possible in the code. Thinking about the other signs along Route 1, the only ones that appear to be this massive are the ones for huge plazas, and like Publix, right, with many stores in them. And even those generally have a cutout to make them look less like a wall. Furthermore, attempting to squeeze in a sign that may be appropriate for a plaza the size of County Line onto a parcel that is a tiny fraction of that size seems like a reading of the code that is far outside its spirit, and it is certainly not harmonious with the surrounding buildings. I do have a 16-foot tape measure. I can show you how large that is. 12 feet is also very large. I think this sign should have reasonable dimensions in order to harmonize with the surroundings on Route 1, and I would ask the board to recommend a more appropriately sized sign as a condition of approval. Thanks.
Thank you, Marie. Okay, we'll close the floor to public comments. Any more board comments before we vote?
Jay, I have a question then. Is there any way that we could ask for the sign to be lower than 60 square feet?
Well, it is.
I just asked our attorney the same question, and he said that, yes, we can. You would have to kind of use some of those code requirements to apply it, like compatibility that are in those standards that we apply, but legally you could make that recommendation.
Okay. Yeah, I do totally agree that the size of the sign should be commensurate with the size of the building, not.
Yeah, I mean, to Marie's point, our sign code is written is geared more towards the shopping plazas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you get the 16-foot height, where you have the individual kind of single buildings like this. Typically, it'd be a little bit smaller. So
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think there would be some legal justification for that.
Can I ask
If
though,
you'd like to.
is part of the reason for the height because of the sight lines for it? Like, I'm just curious. I presume they didn't just try to max out what was allowed under code. There's probably a reason for the.
One more photo.
One more picture. One more.
Oh, we're standing
Are we standing
now?
or sitting? Oh, now we're standing. Okay.
Well, I guess
You guys can sit.
I guess we
and
can sit.
stand behind you if you
Yeah,
want.
we can sit.
Very fun with any.
Trying to make it whatever's the least awkward.
Someone can sit on my lap. I'm just kidding.
Oh, you can sit.
Sit.